Good morning, Thresholds members. Today I'd like to talk about an important topic. It's related to DBT skills, which are dialectical behavior therapy skills. So I'd like to start out with the question, have you ever been so caught up in your emotions that you feel like you couldn't even think straight? Well, this doesn't have to be the case. So the next subject, we're going to look at three different thinking styles. That's one of the primary DBT skills, and it's a skill that people are often able to begin using immediately. So the goal that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to do it in three parts for these videos, the goal here is to gain more control over your emotions and your behaviors. So when we look at DBT skills, one of the concepts or ideas they focus on is the concept of the wise mind. And here's a little diagram you see. So we have three thinking styles. So the three thinking styles we have are using the emotional mind, um, or the reasonable mind, you see here, or somewhere in between, we use the wise mind. And that's the goal of healthy DBT skills, is to use our wise mind. So today I'm going to talk about the emotional mind. It's a way of thinking that we use sometimes. Now it says here, the emotional mind, here we go. The emotional mind is used when feelings control a person's thoughts and behaviors. They might act impulsively with little regard to consequences. So a lot of times when we're thinking with our emotional mind, it gets us in trouble sometimes. Maybe a lot of times we struggle with a mental illness. So the emotional mind is a thinking style. The key to recognizing the emotional mind is that when you are there, your behavior is dependent on how you feel. In other words, your way of thinking becomes dominated by your emotions, which then control your behaviors. For example, when you feel angry, you lash out at someone, or you feel anxious and you avoid the situation that's causing this anxiety, or you feel depressed and you withdraw and isolate yourself. So again, a lot of the emotional mind thinking is based on our feelings, and it ends up controlling our behaviors. However, the emotional mind is not a bad thing. Remember, when we think about dialectical behavior skills, we don't want to pass judgment on feelings, emotions. We don't want to see it as good or bad. So, emotional mind also encompasses positive emotions, such as love, joy, and excitement. So, the goal in gaining some some control over our mind is not to get rid of the emotional mind, because we want to feel those positive emotions. And as uncomfortable as it may be, we need to feel painful emotions such as grief and anger. So that's a little bit introduction to the three different parts of the mind again. Um, Today we talked about the emotional mind. I get a lot of this material from a workbook called the Dialectical Behavior Skills Workbook. Um, I use this workbook. Mine's specifically for bipolar disorder. But you can find these workbooks at like Barnes and Noble, or order them online from Amazon. They're really helpful for managing a lot of mental health issues. So that's all I got for today, members. Tomorrow I'll talk about the other part, the other extreme of balancing the mind, which is the rational mind. And thank you for your time today, members. Be safe and be well.